To find out the top 5 tips that everyone participating in the SOAP should know so they can match, be sure to watch this video until the end. Tip number 5. Do not violate the NRMP match policies for the SOAP. So let's break this down. Knowing the policies of the SOAP are a must, because if you violate any of these policies, all your hard work for the other top 4 tips will go down the drain. The match participation agreement contains policies that specify the steps participants must take to comply with all of these policies. If you violate these policies intentionally or unintentionally, that can result in you being investigated and sanctions being brought against you. For a better understanding of these policies, let's take a look at common mistakes that applicants make during the SOAP. Mistake number 1. Asking someone to initiate contact with a program for you. So basically, if there is an unmatched applicant participating in the SOAP, and then they ask someone else to contact an unfilled program on their behalf before the program initiates the contact themselves, this is a violation of the NRMP policies. Mistake number 2. That is when an unmatched applicant does not wait for the program to initiate contact first, but instead they go ahead and contact the unfilled program themselves. Mistake number 3 is contacting a program outside of ERAS or contacting that program before the SOAP starts. What I want you to remember from all of these common mistakes is that only programs can initiate contact during the SOAP. But let's take a look at some examples so you can have a better idea of policy violations. Example number 1. During the SOAP, applicant A realizes that they know a resident at one of the programs. They ask the resident to persuade the program to consider their application. Can you identify where applicant A went wrong? Well, of course, they asked someone else to initiate contact with the program, and the NRMP specifically says this. It is prohibited for individuals or entities to initiate contact on behalf of any unmatched applicant, regardless of the individual's role in an institution or school. So basically, it does not matter what that person's role or position is. You should not initiate contact or ask someone else to initiate contact with a program on your behalf. Now let's take a look at applicant B. So applicant B emails her CV to some pediatrics programs 1 week before the match, in the hopes that she will be remembered if they have unfilled positions for the SOAP. Can you identify what applicant B did wrong? Well, she contacted the program outside of ERAS prior to match week. So the NRMP basically considers this to be a violation of their rules. And she also initiated contact with the program first. So those are 2 violations of the NRMP rules that applicant B did. What I want you to remember is that you should not initiate or start contact with a program. Whether you do it or you ask someone else to do it, it's a clear violation of the NRMP policies, so just don't. But honestly, there are many more policies, so I strongly recommend that you read the policies and match agreement that the NRMP provides. You can find it on their website or on ERAS. So you might be wondering, well, if I do violate a policy, what can happen? There are several different ways that this could play out. They could bar you from registration and ranking for 1 year. They could bar you from participating in another SOAP, or they could bar applicants from participating in all other matches. So guys, it is extremely important that you know the NRMP policies and stay clear of any violations. If you are liking this content so far, please be sure to power up the like button, hit subscribe, and that notification bell. It lets me know what type of content you like so I can continue creating more. Tip number 4. Prepare your devices. So your devices will be the main barrier between you and programs and you and matching. So ensure that your laptop, your phone, your tablet or iPad or whatever you use is fully charged and up to date. The last thing you want to happen is that your laptop starts a 2-hour long update right in the middle of the SOAP. And also make sure that you do a diagnostic on your internet just to make sure that your internet connection at home or wherever you are is good. If you are overseas or you are outside of the United States, you still have to ensure that you have a US cell phone number regardless. I know that you can get a US cell phone number using Skype. You can purchase it for around $10, but I might be mistaken about the exact cost of that. But there are many other options out there, but that is the one I know for sure definitely works. But despite that fact, be sure to test it. Call that number, make sure it works and everything is running smoothly before the SOAP starts. Also, be sure that your phone is on loud. Do not put it on silent. Do not put it on vibrate and keep it close to you at all times. And also, any alarms that could disrupt your conversation with the program directors, just be sure to turn those off. I'm stressing the importance of the phone so much because that is exactly how program directors will be contacting you during the SOAP. So it's imperative to have this device close to you at all times. It's working as it should, it's on loud, and you are ready to go with your US cell phone number. If you are liking these SOAP tips so far, please be sure to power up that like button so I will know if I should create even more SOAP videos to help applicants during their journey. And be sure to share this video with any of your friends that may need help with this process as well. Tip number 3, know the NRMP SOAP data. For the SOAP, knowledge is literally power. Knowing the previous SOAP data as well as analyzing it can improve your chances of matching because you are able to predict what positions will be available and how best you should prepare for the SOAP. In 2020, 1,897 SOAP positions were available, and 1,687 of those positions were filled. So that is a 99% fill rate for the SOAP positions. Another very important fact to know is that 65% of these applicants were international medical graduates. That number combines both US and non-US citizen IMGs. So guys, if you missed that, let me say that one more time. So 99% of positions were filled and 65% of those were IMGs. So if you didn't get any interviews or you didn't match, just know that it isn't over yet. Once you are SOAP eligible, applying to a SOAP is free and you can apply to up to 45 programs. So just keep these statistics in your head. It's very, very important. So please try not to be discouraged. In 2020, 709 programs had unfilled positions, but 648 of those programs participated in the SOAP. Now let's take a closer look at the specialties. So 50% of the unfilled positions in the SOAP were PGY1 only positions, the largest one being preliminary surgery with 580 positions. Preliminary medicine had 142 positions. Preliminary OB-GYN had 9 positions. Preliminary pediatrics had 5 positions. And transitional year had 206 positions. So here is a summary of all the PGY1 positions. You can just pause the video here, take a good look at it, and let's move on to the categorical programs. We are going to look at family medicine, internal medicine, and pediatrics. So family medicine had 337 positions, while internal medicine had 352 positions available, plus 5 primary positions, while pediatrics had 50 positions and 2 primary positions. Now let's take a look at the categorical programs with a lower number of positions available. Psychiatry had 18 positions, neurology 17 positions, and pathology 13 positions. The categorical of GYN positions were only 2. So these are the top 5 specialties that can be seen in the SOAP. It is very important to know this data because you can prepare your application accordingly. If you enjoyed that quick rundown of the data, please be sure to power up that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell, and share it with a friend. Now let's move on to tip number 2. Review and revamp your application. During the SOAP, I strongly recommend that you review your personal statement. Also, this is the time that you can check for grammatical errors or even start writing a personal statement for another specialty that you will apply for in the SOAP. So, tip number 2 is the LOR. So let's say that you have a lot of pediatrics LORs, but in the SOAP you are applying to family medicine. If you're watching this video on the day that I published it, you still have some time to try to get a family medicine LOR. Remember, for family medicine, the most important factor for program directors is showing a dedication to the specialty. So at least having one family medicine LOR shows that. And then we have certifications. So if you are an IMG and you did not receive your ECFMG certification at the time of applying to the match, but you now have it, now is the time to add that to your application. If you have a BLS certification that you got, now is the time to add it to your application. I go into a lot of depth and break down every single step that you need to improve your application for the SOAP. If you want to know those top tips to improve your application, please be sure to check out this video right here. And if it doesn't pop up, that means that it is in the description below. Before we go on to tip number 1, I just want to share with you a bonus tip, and that is to make a plan. The soap is extremely time sensitive, so you need to plan ahead what devices you're going to use and if you're going to use any services so that you can look up different programs or select your sites to research programs. So once the soap starts, you will have a limited amount of time to research the programs once the list of the unfilled programs pop up. So you need to decide, are you going to get friends and family to help you to research the programs, or are you going to use a site where you can just input the name of the program and you can get like the different stats on it? So you need to weigh the pros and cons and make the best decision for you, but don't wait last minute to make that decision. Think about all those different aspects now. And also, you need to make a plan using the data that we just discussed and decide what specialties will you apply to during the soap. Once you do that, try to make adjustments to your application to show some interest in the specialty that you will be applying to in the soap. Also, consider questions that the program director may ask you about that specialty in advance. Now let's get into tip number 1. Know the new soap format. So let's take a closer look at this. Before, the soap had 3 rounds, but starting in 2021, there will be 4 rounds lasting 2 hours each. Knowing the dates, the times, and how the events of the soap will unfold on those days is crucial for being successful in the soap. So it's imperative to know the format of the soap and make plans geared towards that format. If you want a step-by-step guide on this and also to answer the most important questions that applicants ask about the soap, be sure to subscribe to MD Pro House so that you do not miss that video. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and to continue learning more, click this video right here.